how did the perspective change in 24, and what have you carried into 25?
Going back into the 2024 season, one of the biggest changes in my perspective was with my teammates who were injured or my teammates who were coming back from an injury. I just really resonated with them. And from a captain standpoint, I think I was able to relate to everyone before my injury, with except the people who were injured, because I never really was in their shoes. And I would tell them, like, just stay positive, like you can get through it. Like you'll be better on the other side than this. But then being injured and being out for so long, I really realized like sometimes guys don't want to hear that. Sometimes guys just want somebody to vent to, or sometimes guys just need to be told to like get over it and like let's go grind, let's get through it.
Hello, welcome to the United Soccer Lounge. My name is Riley James. Today in the program, we welcome Clay Dimick. And now we have a lot to get to in the front, so we'll get through it quickly so you can hear Clay talk, because it's much better than anything I'm going to do right now. But he's the first athlete in the history of professional sports to return to a competitive level of play after undergoing surgery for a 2-level cervical artificial disc replacement. Essentially, he had 2 of his discs replaced in his neck, and he had some neurological rewiring to do. It was a very serious injury, and he tells you more about it than I can tell you in the 60 seconds I have doing this. But really just an incredible story. He is the captain of the Charlotte Independence. He has been with that club since 2019, and he's made over 100 appearances. And we talk about all of that. We talk about how they're doing so well in the first half of the season in USL League One this year, but we definitely talked about his surgery, his recovery, and coming back and playing every single minute in 2024, winning Comeback Player of the Year in USL League One. So really just an incredible story. We'll wrap up here early so you can go and hear it. If you like the show, please subscribe to it. United Soccer Lounge on Goals.tv and Goals TV on YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment, all your favorite things about Charlotte Independence, North Carolina soccer, Clay's story, his recovery, and how they're doing this season, sitting in second place in the USL League One, at least at time of recording on July 2nd. So super thankful to you, super thankful to Clay. Here's our interview with Clay Dimick. Please welcome to the program the captain of the Charlotte Independence in the 2024 USL League One Comeback Player of the Year. Please welcome to the program, Clay Dimick. Clay, thank you so much for doing the show. You're doing it from your car, which we always appreciate.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me on, and like we were talking about earlier, I had to make time for it, so this is what I got, and I'm excited to be here, and thanks for having me.
And now we are a big show based on transparency, and this is the third time Clay and I are doing this. So hopefully we this one actually is recording and sticks. But no, we certainly appreciate you making time. Obviously, in the middle of a season, we're always so appreciative of every player and every coach that comes on this program. A lot to get to when it comes to you and your story. We will talk about 2023 and 2024 for you, but I want to start in the current age of 2025. You guys sit second as we enter kind of that summer break. We're just over halfway through the season. What's worked so well for you in this club through the first half of this USL League One season?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's been an excellent start, and that was something we wanted to focus on as a club going into the year, to start fast and not slow down. And but it's easier said than done. So I think Mike Jeffries, the head coach, and the other coaches, Dave and Gabby, have done a really great job of preparing us throughout the preseason into how we want to play, the system we want to play, and the guys have taken it and ran with it. So as a captain, it's super cool to see a pretty new group compared to last year come in and be ready to work and ultimately just kind of trust the coaches and trust that we're going to get it done. So I think like that trust and those plans have been there from day one of preseason, and it's shown in this first half of the season.
And the leadership of you and definitely the coaching staff has willed this team to a second place spot as we enter July 2nd, day of recording. But it's been so cool to kind of read up on your story and to prepare for this. I tweeted last night that like I had to leave 11 questions on the cutting room floor just because of the sake of time. And that's more questions than I've ever left just off in a separate notepad somewhere, because I could ask you a million things and I wish I had an hour like I usually do, but we don't.
Yeah.
Um, so I'll start with this because, like I said, your story is fascinating. For those that don't know, Clay suffered an injury in 2023, and he is the first professional athlete to return to elite competition after having 2 discs replaced in his neck. And that's artificially replaced, I might add. And it's a fantastic story. So I'll ask you this just for the sake of time. When the doctors came in and said that I wouldn't play again if I were you, I would tell you to sit down. What was the initial reaction to that? And how did you find the strength to push through that initial prognosis?
Yeah, so it was kind of interesting because I was so like unaware of the extent of the injury. I just knew I hurt my neck, but I didn't know the extent of it. So when I went from doctor to doctor, specialist to specialist, and the diagnosis and kind of the recommendations and the protocol got worse and worse, then I started to realize the severity of it. So on that day when they did tell me I wouldn't play again and that if I was their son or brother, then they would tell me like never hit a ball again, never play again. I was devastated, and I said it out loud. I'm pretty sure there was tears and everything, and I told him like, "Well, thanks. You kind of gave me the worst news I could ever had." And then at that time, there was a hospital bed to our outside of our door, and he said, "Look, like in all reality, you're a couple inches, a couple centimeters away from being paralyzed, neck down. So it's not the worst thing. Take the positives." And on that day, I took the positives and didn't think there was a route back to playing. But then meeting with another specialist, there was. But yeah, the day was just super devastating and gray and sad. But I was having hope in the fact that I wasn't paralyzed, and I was having hope in my faith that I have, and my faith has gotten me to the point of finding like little slivers of hope that God leaves for us to kind of turn the other cheek and look at a different route that we didn't see at first. So relying on my faith and my family definitely gave me hope in a time where I didn't really see a way out.
So you mentioned your family. So you're going through this whole process over the course of a year. And like just because you're hurt doesn't mean you stop being a dad, doesn't stop you being a
Yeah.
husband. How did you balance the rehab process, dealing with the severity of your career might being over to, the kids writing in saying, "Hey, dad," or, the wife coming in saying, "Hey, we need to do this and this and this." Like how did you balance fatherhood and being a husband with this rehab process and this, really serious moment for like your livelihood?
Yeah. So my wife, I can't speak highly enough of her. She's amazing, and she was super understanding of the grieving process that I thought I would have to go through of not playing again. And she was freshly postpartum with our second boy, so we are just trying to balance everything. But at the end of the day, there's just that point where you can feel sorry for yourself and you can continue to kind of sulk and stuff. But also, like my main job here on earth, I believe, is to be a husband and father, and that's what's most important to me. And I wanted my boys to see that dad could push through tough times and lean on his faith and still be there for their mom, my wife, and so. It kind of gave me something else to focus on, and even though it was frustrating and sad at times, I couldn't do everything I wanted to do with the boys and my wife. At the same time, it got me out of myself, outside of myself, and gave me something else to put my energy into, which ultimately is the most important thing in my life. So it was really good to have that because without them, I don't know if I would have gotten through like the dark times of that injury and rehab process.
During this
Hmm.
rehab process, what was that point for you? I'm like, okay, maybe I can do this again. Is there any
Yeah,
one moment that sticks out to you?
yeah, definitely. So the complex part of this surgery and injury was the neurological side. So I like neurologically, I'd lost control of where I was in space or where I was with my left side mostly, and like trying to learn how to use my left side again. Um, and I just remember the first couple of days of going to the spinal cord specialist and them coming over to our house. The first day I couldn't pick up my left leg, so obviously I was like, "This, like, there's no way I'm gonna play again. Like, I can't even do this." And then when I started rewiring my brain and working with them, and they were so good and so smart, and they knew exactly what to do, and I could see stuff like start to pick up, and how quickly my brain was kind of reacting and being a sponge and kind of learning stuff again. I thought somewhere deep in my heart, I was like, you know what? There's a chance that if I can continue this trajectory of relearning things and stuff like that, then I think I have a pretty good shot of getting back to where I once was. I just knew it was going to take some time, obviously.
And you got back to where you were. You played every single minute in 2024.
Yeah. Uh,
Like all of them. Every minute you guys could. You played it. When you sit and think about that, and you think about 2023 and the fact you couldn't move your leg for a period of that time, how crazy is that to think about?
it's yeah, it still blows my mind to this day. Because I mean, you go through a season and it's pretty rare that you don't pick up like little injury here or there if you're playing every game and training every single day. So I'm just so thankful and blessed that I was able to do that. And looking back on 2024, that wasn't even my goal. My goal is just to um, get back to playing by preseason or the end of preseason last year. So to be able to do every minute and stay healthy, I'm just super grateful and blessed that that was able to happen, and I was able to help the team in that way.
You mentioned something that I want to kind of dig deeper into it, the perspective of, you know, you go through playing and you go through life and you kind of mentioned you'd never really had many injuries before this
Yeah.
and nothing to this severity at the very least. And you have this and you're out the entire season, you're going through this whole process. You come back and play 2024 every single moment of that season. How did the perspective change in 24 and what have you carried into 25?
Yeah. I mean, like you said, I was rarely injured. If it was like a ankle sprain here or something like a pull of a muscle, but nothing that serious. So, um, going back into the 2024 season, one of the biggest changes in my perspective was with my teammates who were injured or my teammates who were coming back from an injury. I just really resonated with them, and from a captain standpoint, I think I was able to relate to everyone before my injury, with except the people who were injured, because I never really was in their shoes. And I would tell them like, just stay positive, like you can get through it. Like you'll be better on the other side than this. But then being injured and being out for so long, I really realized like sometimes guys don't want to hear that. Sometimes guys just want somebody to vent to, or sometimes guys just need to be told to like get over it and like let's go grind, let's get through it. So I think like that was one of my biggest changes in my perspective that I was thankful for, was like being able to, as a captain, go relate to somebody who might have just had ankle surgery and is out for 3 months, or somebody who tore their ACL and is out for the whole year. Like how can I relate to them? So my perspective in that sense and changed. And then as an individual, I was just so grateful for every moment. As cliche as it sounds, I was always before I was injured, my wife would ask like, "How'd training go?" And I'd be like, "Oh, it was okay, kind of frustrating." Then like I just remember even to this day, I'm just like, "Yeah, it was good. It was great." Like I was out there, I trained the whole day, I didn't get injured, and I'm just so thankful. So yeah, not a day goes by that I don't thank the Lord for getting me through it and keeping me healthy. And that's like probably how my perspective has changed the most.
That's awesome, man. To go through life that way is a fantastic perspective and it's a fantastic way to live. So
Mm.
I'll ask you, one last thing about this. As you came back, as you started to play again, how did you combat the worry and combat the feelings of this might come back and this might be a problem?
Yeah. So that's obviously like the main thing that was in the back of my head, but also my wife's head. Because nobody knew it's such a new surgery and it's such a unique injury. Nobody knew like how a soccer player would come back from it who heads the ball a lot. So we just took it step by step, and we left a lot of it up to our faith and just kind of said like, if I do feel anything, if I do feel any worry or any type of symptom that I had before, I'd step out immediately and go to a specialist. So that gave my wife peace of mind, and then I didn't rush anything. And Mike Jeffries, the coach here, and the staff and owners and everything were really good about me taking it in stride and working with the specialists and going step by step, not skipping anything in the protocol. So I think all of that kind of gave me confidence that by the time the first game rolled around, I was ready to go fully.
And that was the thought that I had last night when I was like finalizing this question list. Like, how thankful are you to Charlotte Independence who didn't give up
Yeah.
on you for this?
Oh, I mean, I tell Mike all the time, especially last year. I can't thank them enough. I mean, from the minute that the initial diagnosis came out, even to this day, like they treat my family and I so well, and they were by my side every step of the way. He told me like, don't rush anything, just get healthy, and we'll go from there. And yeah, I can't thank Mike and Dan and Jim, the owners, enough, because if I was at a different club and maybe my role was different, or how they were as people were different, it was different, then maybe I wouldn't have the confidence and the patience to get back to where I was. But they've they've really helped me along the way, and I'm super grateful.
Well, we'll move on from that. Thank you so much for talking about that. I know it's always not the
Oh,
most
of
fun thing to
course.
talk about when you do interviews, but I'll ask you about the future. I'll ask you about where this league is going. Obviously, we all know it's coming in 2027. But just in general, this league has evolved and it's expanded across the country. Your club has evolved. Obviously, sitting second right now in 2025. Where do you see this league going based on where it's been and where it is right now? And what role do you hope to play in the future of this?
Yeah, so I'll start with as a league first. Um, I think personally, I see the league going into a more sustainable route with clubs, new clubs coming in that are well run from the inside out, and they are sustainable. Like they're not just here for a couple years, but instead they want to be here for 5, 6, 5, 10 years, whatever it is, minimum, and then go from there. And so I think like that's super encouraging, exciting to see that they're coming in with long term plans. Like you can see teams building new stadiums, maybe starting at a stadium that was already there, and then 3 years into it, they're building a new stadium or they're selling out their stadium. So I think like as a league, I think the trajectory is super positive and it's growing fast, like you mentioned. And then here at Charlotte and where I am now, I just hope I continue to play the same role. Like I love to leave places better than I found it. So when the day comes, hopefully not for a while, that I have to leave and hang the boots up or leave and whatever else is planned for me. I hope I leave it better than I found it. But for now, I'm just trying to take it step by step. And the goal has never changed for me. And here in Charlotte, I want to win a trophy. And I don't think I'll ever be content until I win a trophy here. So hopefully that's that. That's this year. That's what the goal is. But like that's my goal, and I don't think that'll ever change.
No, if anyone deserves it, it's got to be you. It's got to be
Thank
Charlotte,
you.
who
Yeah.
after all the things that you've been through and this club has supported you through, to be able to lift that as the captain of the
Oh yeah.
club would be an incredible thing.
Yeah.
And we would have you on the show immediately after with that trophy in the middle around your neck,
Yeah, I love it.
as we did Jordan Listro of the USL Super League. So I want to talk about North Carolina for just a moment. Two more things. I promise we'll get you out of here on these two.
Yeah, sounds good.
North Carolina is a hotbed for soccer. You get collegiate programs all over the state that are just
Hmm.
fantastic. You have not only just you guys, but another USL men's team, the Carolina Ascent in the USL Super League, not to mention the MLS and NWSL clubs, but like there's so much soccer in the state that you're currently in. How cool is it to be ingrained in that culture? Because I mean, a lot of places around this country have USL League One clubs, and they don't have the culture that you guys have when it comes to the sport. So, how cool is it to play in front of those fans?
Yeah, for sure. And I think I've been super fortunate enough to be here through kind of the progression of it
Yeah,
when it was just the Charlotte Independence and NCFC. Um, and then now, we have the Ascent, the USL Super League, and then
yeah,
obviously Charlotte FC. And there's a bunch of USL 2 teams around. Asheville City does great things up there.
oh yeah.
Um, and then NCFC in Raleigh. And the Courage, like you said, it's just a hot spot for it. And people are always talking about it. There's a buzz around the city. We get the Club World Cup games. We get the Copa America games last year. So people are falling in love with the sport, and I think it's only going to continue to grow with the World Cup coming next year to the States. So yeah, I mean, it's really cool because more people in the city, more and more people are beginning to love the game, and I play here, so I'm super super excited about it as it continues to grow.
And I mean, you're not from that far away, being from Georgia. So I mean, you understand
Yeah.
kind of the weird, like it's been a weird process for soccer to make it in the South. Obviously, Atlanta's done very well, but North Carolina has always had that. It's always been kind of a hotbed, at least in the last couple of years. So it's really cool to see the progression of that. Like you said, all these brand new
Hmm.
teams that came in. We did some work with Asheville City last season, so we're well aware. We interviewed the only ever active USLW League player to go play in the Olympics, which was that was a really
Oh,
cool moment
nice.
for her. It's a really cool moment for the show, but all the things involved. But
Yeah.
um, no, I love North Carolina. It's one of the places that I always highlight when we talk about soccer culture in the United States. Seattle gets a lot of love. Texas with all their teams gets a lot of love, but North Carolina is a really great spot. So I'll
For
ask you
sure.
this final question. We're out of here on this. You played over 100 matches for the Charlotte Independence. Is there one moment or one game that sticks out to you as your proudest moment in that shirt and with that armband?
Yeah, I think the one that now I would say is my first game back last year after the injury, because I just knew everything that I had been through up until that point, and not thinking I would ever get to that moment to play again originally. So playing in that game and scoring a goal and making history of being the first professional athlete to return from this injury, it just was crazy, and I couldn't have written that script any better. So that moment was really special for myself, but also my family and the club and the doctors and everybody involved. So I think like everything it encompassed was hard to beat. But hopefully, like you said earlier, there's another special moment somewhere down the road of lifting a trophy that tops all of that.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be the answer, and I was going to come back with that comment. It's like, all right, let's try to top that this year with a trophy and with the
Yes.
medal. So, but no, man, I had a real hard time figuring out what to ask you last night with so many different options and so many different angles to go with the story. And I cannot appreciate you enough for being so open and honest about all of these things that have happened too. And
Mhm.
I know it's easier probably now to look back on it now that you're on the other side, you're playing,
Yeah.
you're still competing, but to be able to go back and kind of live some of those experiences with us this morning, it's been so great. So I certainly appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you, Riley. I appreciate it as well. It's fun chatting with you, and thank you again for having me on.
Thank you so much to Clay and to Charlotte and everyone that helped make this happen. And when I tell you it was a difficult process, I was up very late the night before the interview. We did this interview on a Wednesday morning. I was up Tuesday night and I had sticky notes and I was just throwing them away. I had lines of questions I wanted to go down that I just didn't have time for. And even with the surgery stuff, I wanted to talk about that the whole time because I found it fascinating. I had a bunch more questions, but we just couldn't make it happen. But ultimately, it's a great story, and it really is inspirational, even to someone who doesn't play anymore. You know, to overcome that level of severity in an injury, and really a frightening time for him and his family. That's his livelihood, right? That's not only something that he loves, but that's his job, and a job that provides for him and his family. So it's incredible, just an incredible story, incredible man to be able to sit there and talk about it and go and relive some of those moments, which I'm super thankful for. But if you like this show and you want to hear more things like this, because we have a really great run of shows coming up. We had some time during the break to really plan these things out and get some really great guests. As you heard with Portland last show, as you hear now, and obviously we have some great ones coming up over the next couple of weeks. We are on the internet. You can find us at Riley James IAC on Instagram and X. The show's Instagram account is at USL on Goals. The parent company is at goals.tv on Instagram, at goals_TV on X, and many great creators making really great content about the world of soccer, including the entire catalog of my show available at www.goals.tv. That will do it for us. Thank you so much for watching our program today. For Clay Dimick, I'm Riley James, if anyone cares.